Cael Sanderson of Iowa State. 159-0, the most dominant wrestler in NCAA history. He's the GOAT for a reason, and he is your 197-pound all-quarter century team member.
Tired about Cael Sanderson. I mean, there's no tired about it.
I think the referee's going to blow it. That's it. He stopped it.
And
Is that referee called Spike Israel?
that's the disqualification that we just saw.
Competition to...
In the world of sports, perfection is something that we talk about far more than we ever actually see. Every athlete, no matter how dominant, eventually faces the same reality. At some point in time, somewhere along the journey, there is failure. Michael Jordan lost a game that he was supposed to win. Olympic champions have fallen on the biggest stages imaginable. Undefeated fighters have eventually met an opponent that changes everything. Entire dynasties, teams that once looked untouchable, eventually collapse under the pressure because perfection, true perfection, simply does not exist in the world of sports. Or at least that's what we thought. For 4 years, from 1988 to 2002, one athlete stepped onto the mat once again and again, with the weight of the expectations growing heavier and heavier each single season. Every opponent studied him. Every coach built game plans around stopping him. Fans would pack the arena, not wondering if he would win, but just to see how he would win. And somehow, despite all the pressure mounting year after year, despite every athlete in America wanting to be the one to end the streak, no one could do it. Not once. 159 matches, 159 victories, 0 losses. 4 NCAA championships, a career so dominant, a career so perfect that more than 2 decades later, college wrestling is still chasing the standard that no one has been able to touch. This isn't simply a story about greatness. This is a story about the most perfect career the sports world has ever seen. This is the Cael Sanderson story. Every legend has a start, and for one of the greatest athletes the sports world has ever seen, this story starts in the mountains of Utah. Cael Sanderson was born into a family where wrestling wasn't just simply a sport, but it was a part of everyday life. Cael will be raised in an environment that was built around discipline, competition, and an obsession with consistently improving. From an early age, it became clear something was different. Throughout the youth tournaments and throughout the middle school tournaments, Cael would be improving rapidly. And by the time he got to high school, the world would start to take notice of Cael and the improvements that he was making from youth through middle school all the way to high school. During high school, he would begin laying the foundation for what would eventually become one of the most untouchable careers in sports history. Sitting in his corner throughout those early years was the man who knew him best, his father, Steve Sanderson. He would serve as a coach and a mentor, helping sharpen the mindset that would define Cael for years to come. And from the moment that he stepped onto the mat, dominance quickly followed. Between the years 1994 to 1997, Cael would tear through the Utah wrestling high school competition like anything that the state had ever seen before. Over the course of 4 years, he would capture 4 straight Utah state championships, establishing himself as the undisputed best wrestler in the state year after year.
To your left on the screen, you see a 4-time state champion from Utah, Cael Sanderson.
His final high school record told the story better than words could ever. He would have 127 victories and only 3 defeats. A staggering 127-3 record made one thing abundantly clear, that this was no ordinary prospect. While most young wrestlers dreamed of becoming champions, Cael was already proven that he operated on an entirely different level. But the high school dominance was only the beginning. After graduating, the young phenom made a decision that would change the course of wrestling history forever. And this choice would be to leave behind Utah to travel east to Ames, Iowa, joining one of college wrestling's most respected programs at Iowa State University. There, he would compete under one of the sport's most legendary minds, head coach Bobby Douglas, a man known for developing champions, preparing athletes to compete at the highest level. This would be a match made in heaven, as Bobby Douglas had the same coaching philosophies as Steve Sanderson. So when the two got together, it would be lights out from there. But even a legendary coach such as Bobby Douglas couldn't have fully known what was about to happen next, because over the next 4 years, the college world wouldn't simply witness greatness, it would witness perfection. And the name Cael Sanderson would begin to transform from an elite prospect to something far greater, a true legend.
I'm just trying to have some fun basically and get on the mat after a long redshirt year, so it's been exciting, and like Joe said, we still have a long ways.
When a freshman arrives in the Division I landscape, expectations are usually simple. Adjust to the pace, learn how different college competition feels, maybe qualify for nationals. If everything breaks perfectly, perhaps compete for All-American honors. But from the moment that Cael Sanderson stepped into the lineup at Iowa State, it became obvious that this was not a normal freshman. There was no adjustment period. There were no growing pains. There was only domination.
Well, the Cyclones are hoping for it tonight. It's Casey Strand, number 5 ranked in the nation, going against number 2 ranked undefeated Cael Sanderson.
You know, I've really been impressed with the 2 freshmen that are undefeated just because they've been in some tough matches, but they just keep winning those tough matches. That's what makes them good. And here Cael's in on a good low shot and back and made a half a shot. Starting to get into there.
There's a shot by Cael Sanderson on the edge of the mat, and he's looking for the call. The crowd's looking for the call. What's he need to do right there, Dan?
It's a
now Strand on a shot.
A reshot.
Yeah.
Took advantage of a situation. Good job by Sanderson, kicking out and right back in.
Dan, I agree with you. That was an easy win for Cael Sanderson. 5-2, 6-2 with riding time, but it was not hard at all. So the Iowa State Cyclones go out 3-0 after one match. 3-0 for Iowa State.
And his first 16 matches sent shockwaves to the college wrestling world. Most athletes were simply trying to survive the long season. Cael was overwhelming everyone you put in front of him. In the first 16 matches, he would have 5 major decisions, 7 technical falls, and 4 pins. It was almost like that he was competing at an entirely different level than everyone else around him, and soon the world began to pay attention. At the prestigious Midlands Championships, one of the toughest in-season tournaments in the world of college, Sanderson announced himself nationally. Even when he faced Michigan State's James Brim and he was forced to a regular decision, he still shut him out 5-0, proving that even when the matches slowed down, he was in control and there was never a doubt. This momentum would carry on and he would win the Midlands Championships, but bigger stages were still waiting.
Conference and the nation. Cael Sanderson, the freshman from Iowa State, 32-0 in the red and blue of the Cyclones, taking on Brad Veering, sophomore from Nebraska, 22-6. Veering, the Big 12 champ at 177 last year, and now quickly coming to you from Ames, Iowa, Lon McCarron, Larry Nugent, Kevin Jackson, bringing you the action.
Here you see Sanderson in on a low shot. He's trying to come out the back door.
There it is.
Great school. And this kid, like we said, is a freshman, so most of his schoolings come from his dad.
Look at the action there.
Does he get more positions than you're used to seeing, or what?
Fun wrestling. An escape point for Cael Sanderson, the freshman from Iowa State. Came in with a 32-0 record. Brad Veering, sophomore from Nebraska, 22-6. Nebraska wants this.
In the mat now, he's exhausted.
Yeah, he is. And there's a takedown for Sanderson. At the buzzer, Cael Sanderson with riding time with a 9-5 finish.
At the Big 12 Championships wrestling in Ames, Iowa, the hometown of his college university, he would run through the field and capture his first conference championships. Along with this championship, he won his first of many Most Outstanding Wrestler awards. And then came the NCAA championships. For most freshmen, this is really when reality hits. The lights are bright, the crowds are massive, the pressure of competing on the biggest stage in the college world is always at play here, but Cael looked completely untouched by all of it. He would open the tournament up by pinning his first round opponent, and then he would major the next, and then he would get 2 more pinfalls in the quarterfinals and the semifinals. And suddenly, as a freshman, he stood in the NCAA finals. It didn't matter. Cael controlled the match from start to finish, winning in a dominant 6-1 to become a national champion as a freshman. 40 wins, 0 losses. And just like that, the college world had discovered the newest superstar. But what the many fans of the arena didn't know yet was that this was only the beginning. Winning one NCAA title is enough to make any athlete famous, but defending that title, that's when the true pressure begins. As Cael entered his sophomore season, everything had changed. The surprise factor was gone. No one underestimated him anymore. Every athlete in the country knew exactly what they were getting when they were competing against him. Every single opponent entered their match hoping to be the person who ended the streak. But instead of slowing down, Cael Sanderson somehow got even better.
Ranked wrestler against the number 6 ranked Charles Vittori, who's having a good season this year. But this is the man.
Well,
right
good isn't good enough in this case, is it?
He had a 71-0 or whatever his record is at this point. Opponent.
Have you seen many? He kind of reminds me of Dave Schultz in a way, and the way he looks when he's out there, because he just looks like
Mark Schultz.
Anderson, of course. We mentioned Utah, from Heber City, Utah, Wasatch High School. He's one of the captains as well for the Iowa State Cyclones, and he just got his 4th takedown.
I think that's probably
it was probably a mercy thing there by the referee, and the win for Cael Sanderson makes the score now 11 for Iowa State, 3 for Nebraska.
You got to come see this guy wrestle if you get a chance to see him.
His sophomore season looked very similar to his first. In the first 15 of his 16 matches, he would win by bonus points. He wasn't simply beating opponents, he was dismantling them. At the Midlands Championship, once again, he would tear through the field. Technical fall, pinfall, a dominant decision, and another title. Then enter a new name into the story, DC Daniel Cormier. Years later, the world would know him as a UFC champion, a former Olympian, one of the combat's toughest competitors. But in the world of college wrestling, he became the biggest threat standing in Cael Sanderson's way. It didn't matter. Sanderson beat him decisively and continued to roll towards March. Then came the NCAA tournament, and this is where people began to realize that something extraordinary was happening. Cael didn't just win his matches. Every opponent looked helpless. 5 matches, 5 dominant performances. Major decision after major decision, tech fall, shadowing through the bracket, and then came the NCAA Finals versus Jones.
Regarded as the top wrestler in the nation, no matter what.
Sanderson perhaps made his loudest statement yet. He would win 19-6, a major decision in the NCAA Finals. Absolute domination, another NCAA title, another undefeated season, 40 wins, 0 losses. In his first of 2 Hodge trophies, which is awarded to the most dominant wrestler in America. At this point, people weren't simply talking about a future legend here. Instead, they would then wonder something else, something bigger. Could anyone beat this man? By the start of his junior year, Cael Sanderson had become bigger than college wrestling itself. 79 straight wins, 2 NCAA titles, the Hodge Trophy, and suddenly the comparison started coming with one name hovering over everything: Dan Gable, the icon of this beautiful game, the gold standard. But everyone remembered one painful detail.
First time in high school or his collegiate career, Dan Gable, after 181 in a row, has lost to the sophomore from the University of Washington, Larry Owen.
Dan Gable lost his final match of his college career, and now Cael Sanderson was chasing history while carrying the terrifying pressure of knowing that one single loss could define everything, his whole entire career. For the first time, perfection will become a part of this story, and somehow, some way, the pressure only made him even better.
He leaves nothing to chance. It's not like he wins matches by just a few points. And there you see Sanderson starting out with a leg attack, fully aware of every place that he could go here. Scannell on his back. It's Cael Sanderson. He's very close to the fall. 40 seconds, and Cael Sanderson scores a fall.
Just extremely poised. You could see him throughout that scrambling position. He knew exactly where.
His third season may be his most violent start ever. The pinfalls were piling up faster than ever before. He looked more aggressive, he looked more confident, he looked more dangerous. This will be followed by another Midlands championship, and then once again DC emerged. By now DC had become the second best wrestler in the country, but every time he met Cael Sanderson, the results stayed the same. Match 1, 14-3. Match 2, 10-3. Big 12 Finals, Match 3, 8-3. 3 matches, 3 times, 3 opportunities to end perfection, and DC came away with 3 losses, and every time Cael looked completely in control. Then came the NCAA champion, greatness in real time. A technical fall in round 1, a pinfall in round 16, another technical fall in the quarterfinals, a major decision in the semifinals, and then waiting in the great victories. He had officially surpassed Dan Gable's legendary winning streak. And now the conversation changed forever. Cael Sanderson was no longer chasing greatness. He had become this beautiful game's immortality. But one final season remained, and now the pressure would be unbearable because now perfection was in reach.
And of course, we're talking about Cael Sanderson, and over the past 3 seasons, this athlete has dominated college wrestling, winning 3 NCAA titles and going undefeated. And this year, he's got a chance to make history to become the first 4-time undefeated NCAA champion.
The final season was unlike the previous 3 because this time everyone understood what was at stake. The streak had become bigger than the game itself. 3 undefeated seasons, 3 national championships, and not a single loss. And history showed countless examples of greatness collapsing at the very end. Everyone remembered Dan Gable, perfect into his entire career until the NCAA Finals match. One mistake can erase perfection forever, and Cael Sanderson understood this better than anyone. And rather than shrinking under the pressure, he would somehow reach another level, which is insane to even process or say out loud. Moving up to 197 pounds, he would continue to do what he's done his whole entire career, and that was destroying everyone. Pinfalls, tech falls, major decisions, one after another, and then at the Midlands Championship, he would capture another title. Then he would roll on into the Big 12 championships, and he would completely destroy both of the athletes that he competed against, getting a tech fall in both of the matches he competed in. And now he had a 4th conference championship title, which all led to one place. And now he had one final NCAA tournament. The last 5 matches of his college career. 5 opportunities for history to disappear forever. But what happened next may be the most important and the most impressive stretch in his entire career. Every single opponent was dominated. No close matches, no scares, no sign of weaknesses. Every match ended in bonus points. 2 pinfalls, 2 technical falls, 2 major decisions. And finally, standing across from him in the NCAA Finals was one more athlete, one more opponent, one final obstacle, one final challenge. The final opportunity for imperfection, and Cael Sanderson delivered a masterpiece.
40-0 as a sophomore, another title closing in on history. In 2001, he smashed Dan Gable's 31-year record for consecutive victories, tacked on 40 more wins and a 3rd national title. He moved up to 197. He got engaged to girlfriend Kelly Kennard and defeated 39 more opponents. 158 in all have taken him on. He has taken them down.
12-4, a major decision. And with that, it was over. 159 wins, 0 losses, 4 NCAA championships, 4 undefeated seasons. The impossible had happened. But when you look back on all of this, when you look back on the 3 Dan Hodges trophies, when you look back on all of the bodies, all the athletes who stepped up, how was Cael Sanderson able to pull this off? But after 4 NCAA titles, after 159 victories without a single defeat, after completing what many consider to be the greatest single career in the collegiate sports history, the biggest question still remained: how? How does one athlete dominate an entire sport for 4 straight years and never slip once? How does someone step onto the mat 159 different times against the best athletes in America and leave every single competition the winner? To understand the greatness of Cael Sanderson, you have to look deeper than the record, because what made Cael different wasn't just the talent alone, it was everything. If you ask the athletes who trained beside him in the practice room at Iowa State, or the athletes who was forced to compete against him while he marched towards immortality, then one thing becomes very clear and very obvious. Cael Sanderson was like anything that college wrestling had ever seen before. For some athletes, it was the physical domination that he opposed on all of his opponents. For others, it was the mindset that he approached the game with. And for many, it was the way that he just approached greatness itself. When discussing Cael Sanderson and the physical domination, one thing comes to mind, and that's the hand fighting. Not just good hand fighting, but overly impressive hand fighting. Cael had a way of slowly draining every opponent and dragging them to deep waters before they realized what was happening. Consistent pressure, pulling on the head, controlling the wrist, changing directions over and over until eventually the resistance of the opponent just disappeared. It would be as if you wasn't wrestling against Cael, you were surviving him. But the physical domination is only one part of the equation. Earlier, whenever I said that for others it was the mind, this speaks of the wrestling IQ that Cael Sanderson had at the time. It felt like Cael already knew what you were going to do before you did. While most athletes would like to react in real time, Cael was operating several moves ahead. Every exchange was a trap being carefully constructed long before his opponent understood what was unfolding. Athletes described competing against Cael Sanderson was almost like supernatural. It was like competing against someone who knew the future. So the question becomes, how do you prepare for something that you've never seen before? And then there was the speed matched with the IQ. Along with having one of the highest IQs in the games, his attacks came faster than they should have. His angles would be impossible to predict, and he would be moving like a lightweight at 184 pounds and 197 pounds for his senior year. No matter who stood across from him, he always found a way to get to their legs, or ankles in this case. Athlete after athlete would walk onto the mat believing that they had the answers to beat Cael Sanderson or slow him down. Every single one of them also walked away learning that they didn't have the answers and they couldn't slow him down. But perhaps the biggest difference between Cael and everyone else was happening when no one was looking. This would be the part that I was speaking on earlier about the approach to greatness that Cael Sanderson had. Every former teammate at Iowa State got to see this firsthand every single day. The extra work, the obsession, the discipline. It's well documented that Cael was always putting in extra work before practice, before workouts. But this isn't anything new, as a lot of athletes are always putting in extra work before practicing and before workouts. But it wasn't just the game, it was his lifestyle. There was no distractions. There was no partying. There was no energy wasted. Every single decision that he made revolved around him becoming better as an athlete. He did not become a four-time NCAA champion because of natural talent alone. He became a four-time NCAA champion because he did everything right. And I believe this is what separates him from every athlete during that era and even the era today. Because becoming great isn't simply about having talent, it's about being consistent. And the consistency showed, because out of 159 college wins, Cael would score bonus points in 140 of them. That's an 88%. That's insane. Of the 19 matches that he won by a decision, only 4 of them was decided by 3 points or less. Think about that. Across an entire 4-year span of college wrestling, one of the toughest sports on the planet, he wasn't just winning, he was beating ass out there. Everyone who stepped in front of him, time after time, teammates stopped realizing that they wasn't watching a great athlete. They began to realize that they were witnessing something far bigger. At this point, everyone expected greatness. But the longer they trained with him, it became clear that this just wasn't another NCAA champion. This was someone chasing perfection in the game that has never been seen before and will maybe never be seen again. Because records can be broken, titles can be won, dynasties will eventually fall. But perfection is forever. And for 4 unforgettable years, Cael Sanderson gave this game something that will never be seen again. Absolute perfection. Years from now, there will be more NCAA champions. There will be future Olympians. There will be dominant athletes in this game who build incredible careers. There will be more athletes who even win 4 NCAA titles, 5 now with the year being 2026. But what Cael Sanderson accomplished is in its own category, entirely separate from greatness, because greatness allows you to make mistakes. Greatness allows losses. Greatness allows moments of weakness. But when you talk about perfection, true perfection, it allows none of that. For 4 straight years, every athlete in America chased him. Every coach prepared for him. Every season brought more pressure than the last, and somehow, some way, instead of cracking, he became better. That is what makes this career different. It wasn't simply about Cael Sanderson winning 4 NCAA titles. It was about every year the legend growing larger and larger. Freshman year, he would shock the world. Sophomore year, he became the standard. Junior year, he surpassed legends. Senior year, he achieved immortality. And when the final whistle blew in 2002, college wrestling witnessed something that it may never see again. 4 years without failure, 4 years without weakness, 4 years without a single defeat, 159 matches, 159 wins. No losses, no excuses, no second chances needed, just perfection. In the history of this game, when you look at the college landscape, there has only been one perfect career, and his name was Cael Sanderson.